agriculture sector, and at least now we're not hearing it from the politicians or other experts. We are hearing it from a journalist who,
I know.
has been following
Yes, sir.
the sector for years now.
Yeah.
But I want, where do you want to start?
Uh, just I really want to begin from just what you said. We need to look at the sector from the past.
Mm,
Where are we currently? And yeah, and what do we think we hope to see for the future?
mm.
Yeah, we need to look at the past and where are we currently?
Okay,
And
so
yeah,
looking at the past, we want to put a year on it, right? We want to
mm,
put a period on it.
yeah.
Okay, maybe we look back at the last 6 years, or do you want it to go further than that?
I think we should begin from where we came from after the war
Okay, okay,
and where we are today in terms of the last 6 years
mm,
and with the current administration.
okay,
And what do we need to do to move forward?
okay. So beginning after the war, maybe we would take it from 2005, because obviously that was the end of the war officially that we know.
Yeah.
And when President Ellen Johnson said he took over officially as president, that is the cutoff point.
Yeah.
That's where we consider
Mhm.
the end of the war. But how was the sector at that time? What was the challenges? What was the development in the sector uh, around 2005? What can you say about the sector around that time?
So let me say again, thank you very much. I'm going to give an account of what I know about
Okay.
in current agriculture sector over the years.
Mm,
So I first began my career with the Daily Observer newspaper around 2013. I reported for the Observer exclusively for agriculture. And later for 2 years, I had the opportunity to go into to to work for NGO as a communication officer. I worked for the Food and Enterprise Development Program as in the 5 million agriculture project area during Madam Sub administration. I worked for that project as one of the communication persons. And later again for 2 years, and I had the opportunity to work with the Liberia Agribusiness Development Activity. It's another USAID project. We honor the Feed the Future program. Barack Obama introduced this program to help poor countries,
okay.
in Africa, like Liberia, to see how they can be able to improve on their food security. So I work for the Liberia Agribusiness Development Activity as a communication consultant, and my contract got expired. And later, I came back to the Daily
Yeah,
Observer
jump into active.
and send them now. I've been so much active with the mainstream, highlighting the issues that affect farmers in the agriculture sector to remind the government to take the necessary intervention. So currently, I'm with the Daily Observer, and I'm also produce a program on Radio Maria for
Okay.
farmers issues. So I've been covering this sector from the administration,
And
Joe administration.
you are well
Here
placed
I'm
to help
here
us.
along with Buckeye administration.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, like I asked, what's your assessment of the past
Okay. So
year?
for the past, we firstly need to know where was our agriculture sector, after the war.
Mm,
Everything destroyed, the war destroyed all the infrastructures.
mm,
So Madam Salih administration was able to have attracted close to 16 major agricultural projects for the 12 years.
16,
16 major
including
agricultural.
the two that you work with, or
Yeah, yeah. The Food and Enterprise Development Program was the largest development program for Liberian food and nutrition security.
okay.
Came along with the agribusiness development activity. So 16 major agriculture as a will of revamping the sector as a service sector. So we have post-harvest facilities in that. I'm talking about post-harvest facilities. I'm talking about processing opportunity where you have farmers to enable farmers to improve their economy. So we never had anything like that. So with Madam Salif administration attracting 16 major agricultural projects, including fisheries as well. You know, we were able to have made significant gain in the agriculture sector. To be very frank, we were able to make a significant gain. Because the Food Enterprise Development Program, I worked with $75 million
mm,
came to Liberia to help Liberia, improve its food security for
mm.
country.
Okay. So,
So
where was the investment focus? Was it on, agribusiness, poultry?
the entire value chain, all of those projects, the World Food Program, the WFP, the World Food Program, which is WFP, the Food and Agriculture Organization, the USAID there, I'm talking about agribusiness. They work in all of the value chains. So they work in poultry, they work in rice, they work in vegetable, and all of those, value chains that you're talking about.
And there was improvement in all of
There
those
was
areas.
significant improvement. There was indeed significant improvement. I can tell you that the Food Enterprise Development Program was able to have employed a lot of people in the agriculture sector. When I was serving as communication officers, I went out on the field. Farmers were so happy. They would tell you, look, I've been working in the agriculture sector. I have not seen a extension officer. But with the FAIR program, today I can see extension officers, on the field to even talk to me. So there were a lot that were already actually
Who are
accomplished.
those considered or referred to as extension
Extension officers
officers?
are mainly people who work in the agriculture sector to provide advisories. To advise the farmers. If the farmers has some problem, a challenge, maybe a disease or pest control, whatever it is,
Mm,
the extension officers provide solution to that problem.
okay.
So under that program, the agriculture sector was actually booming. The Food and Enterprise Development Program, FAO, WFP, there were a lot of things that were already happening in the agriculture sector.
Mm,
But along the line, as I was saying, the sector was affected as a result of the Ebola.
okay.
Ebola came, farmers were not able to go on their farm for them to be able to cultivate,
Mm.
right?
And that was the cutoff point.
Quarter point. So, and we didn't, COVID came as well, all right? Unfortunately, we did not learn from the experience of the Ebola. What we did was that our agriculture sector was not kept alive. And that was some of the things, I used to awareness I used to create on my page, during the COVID time. That in times like these, food crisis, I don't think we'll have the Ministry of Agriculture, to be a place where we can say the technician cannot go on the field because of. We need some brave people who will be able, because if we don't do that, we increase in the food security situation.
Mm.
So we realize that the COVID and Ebola, all of the
Okay.
gains that were made.
So the Ebola was 2014,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
probably cut off most of the gains that was made from 2005. We put it that way.
Exactly. And
Okay.
along the line, interventions came back to try to
So
recover the COVID.
after the Ebola now,
Mhm.
because COVID was 2019,
Yes,
right? Yeah, and it was under the regime of President
President,
Weah.
President Weah.
Yeah, so we stay now with the term of the former president Sirleaf,
Mhm.
because after COVID,
Mhm.
after Ebola, then there were some, investments again, right?
Yeah, there was some.
That
Yeah,
started to.
exactly. There was some investment. There was some investment made
Did,
as a
did,
way
did
of
it did it
recovering.
did it reach the stage of before the before Ebola, what was happening in the sector when the Ebola came and subsided? Did we ever recover that fast
No, no,
to
no. I don't
cover?
think. No, I don't think so. We didn't really recover that far
Okay.
because it was a gradual process even before the COVID came. So the COVID just came and increased the situation also.
Wow.
So with that now, I mean, that was the situation we had now. So Joe Weir administration came in. Now the thing is, how well did we build on the gains? How well did we invest in the agriculture sector as a way of recovery?
Mm. And during the regime of President Weah, there were also projects that came like the Live P. The Star P, the
Mhm.
Lift project.
Yeah.
All of these projects
Mhm.
came under the regime of President Weah. What's the assessment of? In fact, some of the projects are still running, right?
Yeah,
Like the
yeah.
Star P
The
and the
Star
Lift.
P, We got the retrap,
Yeah,
which
the
is the
retrap.
rural. I mean, you got a rural transformation agriculture project,
Mm.
and we got the STAPI, which is the smallholder transformation agribusiness revitalization project at the
Okay.
Ministry of Agriculture, the PMU.
Okay.
So we have all of these projects that were introduced under the administrations of President Weah as a will of
Sponsored by
recovery.
partners.
Yes, so sponsored by partners. Those
Mm.
were all war funded, So if Madam Salif, all of them do are development partners. So even President Weah administration, we follow the same trend as well. So we had a lot of projects. We have a few projects at the Ministry of Agriculture, that is TAPI. We have a nutrition project also, I guess, Saffron. Saffron is another project at the Ministry of Agriculture that is making some intervention as a way of recovering. So we are the recovery process right now.
We're still recovering.
We are still recovering. I
From
want to say we are
from
still recovering.
from the COVID.
Yeah, we're still recovering because
In fact, from Ebola.
from Ebola, we are still recovering. As I said, the sector were affected because of these circumstances.
Mm.
So we are still recovering. And I want to believe, I've been following the former President George Weah. Many of his annual address to the nation, he has always said agriculture is a priority.
Mm.
And that is why he were able to have attracted some money for agriculture, from donor partner to really support the agriculture sector, like the Liberia Agriculture Commercialization Fund.
Okay.
That is meant to create access to finance for smallholder farmers.
Mm.
Okay, so because the farmers will not be able to increase productivity if they don't have money. So these projects came into being as a way of creating. So there were some intervention made, and I can say where we are, the recovery process is still there. We are recovering. The intervention is there, but yeah, indeed, maybe we'll come to the challenges. I will tell you, but we still have many challenges, and there's just more to be done.
Of course, we
we
have many challenges in the sector, and obviously we will go to that. But I want you to tell us a little bit, because most of what happening, we hear about these projects, and they are all projects that are almost 100% sponsored by donors, international partners. And we are still, as a country, seen as not doing so much with our own budget to assist the agriculture sector. What's your take on that one?
You are right. That's also my concern. And many times I use my show to talk to government about the need to prioritize the Malabo framework.
Is it 14%?
10% of our total national budget.
10%.
10% of our total national budget.
Okay.
According to that framework, should be going towards agriculture. Liberia became a signatory to the Malabo since, I think, 2003. But we are yet to prioritize, agriculture into our national budget. Our budget our agriculture sector has been entirely supported by donor partners. So all of the money that we still are being using to transform the sector some of them have been loans that have come, and the country has to pay back. And what is happening is now some of these things now they come as a loan, right? But the rest thing we see is going to farmers as a grant to really be able to help them. Yes.
Okay, so government
we have not
tried it as loan, but give it to farmers as grant. Okay, so it's their responsibility.
We have not been able to prioritize, agriculture in our national budget. As far as I'm concerned, Madam Salif tried making some other allotment when it comes to the national budget so that we can have direct support. But many of the money that is allocated for agriculture, most of it just go to our salary and other things. But those things that farmers really need, the loans and other things, is completely lacking.
And under the leadership of President Weah, former President Weah, I know that the Agriculture Ministry brought in some equipment, including mini tractors and all of these. What's the state of these equipment? What do we know? What did they do, or what are they doing now to help the sector? From what you've been, reading from these farmers.
So what I've seen, the sector has been modernized gradually based on what the previous administration did. I
Okay.
must admit, what I've seen is that today we have industrial rice mill in Liberia.
Mm.
Yeah, through the donor partner, right? The Liberia business. We have people. You go in Lofa, you go in Foya. We have a guy who is able to produce a lot of rice now. The tin parboiled rice that we have on the market,
Okay.
Liberia is producing it right now.
Okay.
Industrial rice mill. We have another one in Vonyama, industrial rice mill with a huge capacity. All right. So and along the line, there have been some interventions like mechanized equipment have been given out to farmers. To be very frank, but the only thing here is that how to sustain it. The sustainability aspect of it.
Mm.
Yeah. How can a man who has a huge capacity of about industrial rice mill, okay, how can he run that mill? All right, if you're not adequately supported. So, machines have been given, tractors have been given the farmer to some cooperatives that I know about. I know about the Belligate cooperative. I know about the Dogodan cooperative. They have received a lot of equipment from the government. But the issue is how can it be sustained?
Mm.
Those, farming is a business, right? If you support, you give the farmers, machine, you give him equipment. If he doesn't have and the farmer does not have access to loan, how can the processors, go out there to buy the party, from the producer and be able to process it? So right now, that's a challenge right now in the agriculture sector. The infrastructures are being built, but to get these facilities ready, well functional,
Okay.
it's a very serious issue. And that's why today many people can say we do not see anything happening in the agriculture sector. All right. But the intervention has been made. But the sustainability aspect of it, farmers should have access to loan so that they'll be able to, control. The man in Lofa, in Foya, who has a huge capacity, industrial rice mill, if you see it, so great. Every giant rice mill he has there. He needs to buy the party from the farmers and be able to process it. But he does not have money. The ministry have been making some intervention though, but I mean, it's not enough. They're still complaining. The farmers are producing. Some of the farmers have been supported, in production. They grow a lot of rice, but they don't even have the market to sell it.
But I think people will still not see what is happening in the sector, even though you are alluding to that, some investment in the sector and some growth, as a matter of fact. But people will not see what's happening until probably they can see the drop in price of the local rice, drop in price of cassava, potatoes, and all of these things.
So you see, the thing is, the man who is operating the processing center in Lofa County, how does he bring that rice here in Monrovia? The road is an issue. So all the thing, the cost of production is so high. Even the local rice that is being produced, if you look at the cost benefit analysis, the local rice that is being produced by our farmers is almost as the price of the imported rice. So many of the processors prefer selling their rice to institutional buyers, to WFP and other things. Then, because if you look at the cost of production, the man has to even where does he get the fuel, to run the machine, all that kind of thing. Where does he get the money for him to be able to buy more, party rice from the farmer to be able to process? So how does he take the rice from low fat with a deplorable road condition and brings it as far as Monrovia to have it in the market? So all of these things is what still causing our food insecurity situation. No factors are still hindering, our ability to be self-sufficient. Except we accelerate, like investment for agriculture and be intentional, as many people have said it.
Okay. Do you see an improvement in the yield of rice over the past years? Because I know under the previous government, the agriculture ministry boasted of one of the highest yield under that administration.
There is yield in the improvement of rice. The project I work with, from what I saw in annual report, the farmers were producing before the war. Farmers were producing maybe 1 hectare, but later with the support provided to them, they started producing 3 hectares. Of lowland or whatever it is. So yield has been able to improve, to some extent. And I do remember last year, the outgoing minister, Madam Jeannie Cooper, said that Liberia was targeting the production of rice at 50%.
Okay.
50% local, improvement of local rice production.
Okay.
So we understand there are a lot of rice that were produced last year. But the serious challenge right now is the issue of market. I've been following the Ministry of Agriculture, the various chat rooms. What I've been said there is that farmers got rice, but they don't have someone to buy it. Then where the government really needs to come in. We're talking about the national budget. Can we think about putting money into the national budget that will be able to solve those problems? Yes. I remember during the time we worked for the FAIR project, farmer produced a whole lot of rice. And there was an issue of market. The dealers ever had to carry an editorial. Why is it that the FAIR project said it is market driven and farmer has a challenge of market? They can't buy their rice. So you see, the situation right now, I've been hearing in the chat room, in the very chat room in the Ministry of Agriculture, that indeed there has been a bumper harvest. There have been a lot of rice being produced last year, but indeed there is a need for people to be able to buy it from the producer and be able to process it. The processor does not have the money to go and buy it from the producer.
What county is still producing the highest amount of rice to date?
So right now, I think the county that is really producing rice, I think the competition should be between three counties. Okay. It's a big one. When you go into Lofa County, you go in Foya. A lot of farmers are into lowland rice cultivation.
Okay.
Yeah, large area. I know about the Mayor group that is being supported in Foya. They are producing a lot of rice. I know about Mokona farm that is into mechanized farming. The guy has produced a lot of rice that he has sold even to Camara, the processor.
Okay.
But he still got more rice. And you're talking about where does he get the market to even get our rice? So we have farmers already producing a lot of rice in Bong, in Lofa, and that in Nima.
Okay.
Lowland farmers. I don't know much about the Southeast, but these three counties are doing very well.
All right, so you're listening to the Bumper Show. On this last segment of the program, we have Judoemue Kollie, agriculture reporter there at the Obsever newspaper. He is our guest on the program on this last segment. Later, you will have your say. You will make your contribution on the program. But we're talking about the sector taking a journalistic, view of the agriculture sector. And like I said, we will have your say on the program. So keep listening. Is the Bumper Show here on ELBC Radio. Most of the time when we talk about agriculture, most time we just talk about the edibles, food, right? And that's one way to help the sector. But we have other areas. Like
tree
rubber,
tree crop sector.
Tree crop sector.
Yeah.
What is obtaining in that sector to date? Yeah, I know there's some hulu balloon now with the issue of rubber, the executive order. But what's happening in the sector?
So the tree crop sector, there are interventions that have been made to provide employment. One major area that I really admire, I'm impressed about, is the small-scale oil palm sector.
Small-scale oil palm.
Oh, yeah. That's a very new development for agriculture sector. I've been following the former minister, Jeannie Cooper, who have visited some counties.
Okay.
You can see the kind of setup. Industrial processing mill. Industrial. Many of the farmers were processing manually.
Yeah, dig the hole.
Yeah, all of that. But today, through the Liberia Agriculture Commercialization Fund, which is called the LCF, the grant was provided to some of these oil palm farmers. And today they are doing well. They are processing. I'm understanding that the oil that's on the market today would never be scarce. Liberia continue to produce the oil. Still, we don't
You're
import
talking about the
oil.
palm oil.
The palm oil
Hmm.
that is on the market today. So
No scarcity will come.
no scarcity will come. That's the indication that's what we're hearing. So the oil palm sector is a very new development for agriculture sector that can create employment. You know,
Okay.
if there is more investment in done in our area. We also have the cocoa sector. I understand that the Liberian have been involved with some level of exporting cocoa
Hmm.
from out of Liberia from other annual report. So we also, but one area we need to also concentrate on is the coffee sector. The
Coffee.
coffee, before the war, we understand Liberian used to export coffee, right? But again, coffee was one of the priorities crop of the Ministry of Agriculture, the Liberia Agriculture Sector Investment Plan. The LASE is the strategy. So cocoa is one of the priority crops. But
Okay.
all the years, we are not being able to support the coffee farmer. Most of the coffee farms are more than 50 years of age.
Hmm.
50 years. But farmers are still cultivating. All right. There has been no support. I was glad to hear from the minister during his inauguration, during his confirmation hearing. He
Okay.
mentioned about the need to bring back what we call Liberica coffee back to Liberia. It's an indigenous, it's a coffee variety that was produced, here in
In
Liberia.
Liberia. Okay.
Yeah, they came into being in Liberia, introduced in Liberia. They call it Liberica coffee. And now the minister is saying, under his administration, you're going to make sure that coffee farmers are supported. But before the war, Liberia used to export coffee.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Why there was this time you know, in fact we always hear about Liberia or lawmakers or government officials don't have a farm, you know. Yeah, that's what we hear.
Mhm.
But we will talk about that later. But I know there was a time that the former minister took a tour, and according to her, she identified many of the government farms
Mhm.
across the country, and they were about to, you know, start some work there. Probably, I don't know where are we with that, but did you hear about it? What do we know about those farms that former Minister Cooper spoke about at the time? I'm sure you are aware of that.
Yeah, I think the previous administration did not really understand that either establish a Ministry of Agriculture, and the former minister herself understood that it is not the government that has to make farm.
Okay.
The government has to support the private sector. So they started something like the government farm, but it didn't go anywhere because the minister felt she needed to support the private sector. You
Mm.
can't have the government making farm. That's not what the act that established the Ministry of Agriculture. The act that established the Ministry of Agriculture says that the Ministry of Agriculture should provide an enabling environment, support the private sector, support private farmers and other things.
Okay.
So it was just something, a mistake by not, maybe President Weah did not really understand how exactly maybe the agriculture sector really needs to operate. But it was something that, Junior Cooper maybe attempted doing, but I don't see much being accomplished about that government fund.
So meaning that the government cannot to date take a farm and employ people under the Ministry of Agriculture. They can do that, only support the farmers.
Yes, that's it. The act that established the Ministry of Agriculture, what I know about and what I've been informed about is the ministry is the one that need to support the private sector.
Okay.
It's not the government that's supposed to own farm and own any farm.
Okay.
Government does not make farm.
All right. 0-777-835-862-0880-514-096. If you want to be a part of the program, you can call us on those number on those numbers 0-777 835-862 and 086 514 096. We are talking to Judoemue Kollie. He is an agriculture reporter and is there with the Data Observer newspaper. He's our guest on the program. You are, an agriculturist seated somewhere now and monitoring, and you want to make your contribution. Cut us and let's hear from you. How can we get this sector up and running for once? Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I go by the name Shaka Babek, ladies and political mechanic. I call you from Zueju. Thank you so much for the second segment of the show.
Mm.
But when your studio guests talk about government is not to be involved into farming activities. I don't know what he really mean because the government has to be fully involved into agriculture activities. He talk about producing rice, farmers getting loan. What will make it interesting for the program to go on, is for the government being involved in investing into agriculture. That's why you see our farmers are not exporting products and they are not on certain level of production within Liberia. If you look at China, they have agricultural banks. If you look at other countries, let me take it far from China. You go to Cote d'Ivoire right here. People have cocoa. They're producing coffee. The government support their ideas, so they have the factory for producing those cocoa and coffee. They take loan and people live on that. So I think if the government can get fully involved, then they are going to take agriculture serious. President Boyka is an agriculturalist. So I think he has to invest more money in the agriculture sector so that Liberians and the local farmers, if you find out in Grand Jula County, will have large swamp here. But it's just vulnerable. People are not doing nothing with it. What is the government doing to supply those people with tools, to supply them with seeds, to be able to produce for us Liberians to be self-sufficient instead of, buying rice 4,000, like I just bought a rice, $4,000, 3,008. We hope to buy rice at the price of $1,000, or limited price. So I think
Okay.
government need to be involved into farming so that it can make it more interesting in Liberia so that the local farmers can be able to achieve their goals. Thank you so much, political mechanic from Zueju.
Okay, thank you, Jutumu. But if you heard what Jutumu said, right? He spoke about, he's, I'm sure, well versed of the act that created the Ministry of Agriculture, and that the ministry should not be involved into that.
The government is already involved because if the government can support the private sector, the government is involved. What kind of involvement do we want the government to do? The government can attract, money from external sources to support the farmers. They are creating an alien environment. So government is involved. The government doesn't necessarily have to go and own a farm before you know that the government is involved. As much the farmers are supported, as much the government can come talk about policies, and some other thing, the government is definitely involved.
Okay, let's hear from this person. Hello? Hello?
Yeah, hello, Jack. This is from the My question goes to YouTube is my dad is about, he said our government is involving in the agriculture. Then what is it that the government official for the legislature branch receiving agriculture break? That is my question. I want for you to explain to me.
He didn't say that government is not involved. He said government cannot make a farm. But you heard his question, right?
I heard his question.
Yeah.
So
why those people on Capitol Hill should be taking agriculture?
So it means that the improvement of our food and nutrition security is a collective effort. It's not only the government alone. We know these are all government officials, right? But everyone needs to go to agriculture. And that's why I believe this whole agriculture break was, that was the strategy about it. So during this time because before the war, I learned that a lot of government officials were into agriculture. If you really look at it, all of the poultry farm you own those days were all, government officials. And that's why maybe we see, as you are saying, maybe President Baka, or because I'm saying to the president, and what we all concerned is Boakai does not succeed in agriculture. For me, I personally convicted that he has not done anything.
Okay.
Because he's a man from the agriculture background. So he needs to encourage his cabinet ministers. We all need to go and make farms. Let people go in the various villages and contribute to food and nutrition security.
Okay. Let's hear from this person. Hello.
Mr. Jack David, how you doing?
I'm good.
Steven Zonzoro Whiskey.
Steven, let's hear from you.
Jack, you'll be surprised that you get to realize there are other ministries that are now good for Liberia.
Why there will be ministries that are not good for Liberia?
And one is agriculture ministry.
No, you're not helping our audience.
If you allow me to learn, I think you know from which perspective I'm speaking.
Sorry if I want to take your right from you, but go ahead.
Okay. Agriculture Ministry in Liberia is now representing the farmers. Agriculture Ministry in Liberia is representing the foreign countries borrowing with us.
What do you mean by that? What proof you have?
Donors will come with the hard-earned money to support the government, most especially the agriculture ministry. They will bring the materials that are useful to farmers. That particular ministry will take these things as business. Go to the agriculture.
What proof you have about what you're saying?
They sell the materials overnight. They just put the Liberian farmers on a blueprint show. I'm telling you something for reality.
Okay, so sorry, we cannot continue with such accusation, and but let's ask you know what he's saying, right? Have you heard anything of such that materials coming in the country are being sold?
I think the farmers are right sometimes to express their frustrations about some of the ways some interventions have been made. I can remember some 2 years ago there was some machine that was distributed to farmers in the agriculture sector.
Okay.
And my concern was that you bring the machines and deliver the machines to the farmers, and sometimes the machine is sitting down, it's not being operated. You bring the machine and give the machine to the farmers in Monrovia. The farmers is not able to even give him power tiller. He's not even able. He doesn't have the transportation to carry it into where Grand G there. So there was a story I ran with in the Daily Obsever. I remember Madam Cooper was not happy about it, and I felt it was not right. Yeah, so those are some of the things.
No, but
it was not right.
Judoemue,
I had to run with that story, and some of them had the problem with me because I felt you bring farmers from far, the villages, and you say you're empowering them, and you are empowering them, and they got a lot of constraints. You got some of the equipment went into the various villages, and the equipment was not installed. Up to now, I follow it up in Toyota. I went to the place and see some of the equipment. So, some of the things that he's saying, indeed, those are some of the shortcomings of the ministry. And not only the ministry, even some of our development partners. I understand there are some deliveries that are being made, and there where the issue of extension comes from. We still have a poor extension delivery system. The farmers are working. Who is visiting the farmers? Farmers working whole day. He has a pest control a challenge. Who is addressing it? Government is not putting money in to improve on extension delivery. We have been able to launch our own extension policies for Liberia were launched last year. So how much money are we investing into extension? Under Madam Saliva administration, you will go to all of the counties and agriculture sub offices around the country. We're very active. Oh, don't even have it currently. You go to some of the places, nothing much is really happening. Okay. So you see, I get the point the farmers is making. And that was a story I read and I said, no, it was not okay. Oh, you see?
Okay. Judoemue, I would like to take this call first before I come back to you on that one. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah?
I'm Augustine TJ speaking for Show Cleanness.
All right.
For what the last caller have just said, I get experience of it. The agriculture people will bring agriculture material. Those who do not have farm, they give it to them, then they sell it on the market. Even right, I guess from Lufa, they brought fertilizer in Lufa. They give it to fertilizers, everything, green boots. They give it to those who do not have, and then they put solely on the market. So how the agriculture will be improved?
Okay, all right.
The agriculture is going to follow any material they give or it's going to follow A and C. So it's going to have SOS. But if you don't do so, the agriculture area will be blank. They will just be bringing the material, they sell it, then they take it from here, they carry Guinea.
Okay.
I rest.
Okay. Thank you, thank you. Your point is taken, and that's what you said you experienced, and hope that should not be the case going forward. Hope the necessary checkpoints can be erected so to prevent such thing from happening, because you cannot have equipment coming in the country for use by the farmers, and then it's diverted to something else. Um, One of the, something right that seems very simple but important, and I want you to tell us a little bit about it on this program today, because you've been there. What is it about this issue of pepper? We always hear that we as a country, we are importing pepper from Guinea. Is it true? Do you know anything of such?
Yes, I'm aware. Sometimes I visit the real light. I see trucks coming with pepper, dry pepper. Most of them are coming from Guinea or other neighboring countries. That is
Mm.
true. We are not ready. Thing is that in places like Guinea, people are already investing more into vegetable production. So they find a market in Liberia. Yeah, right now, many of our farmers who are in the vegetable sector, traders in the vegetable sectors, are going to other countries, like even Benin to buy carrot.
Mm.
Yeah, other assorted vegetable, foreign vegetable, just to bring on the market. So the farmers are not really being supported in the vegetable sector. And so we have tin and pepper and other things are still coming from Guinea and other places, whereas we got farmers that are able to produce those things.
You said that you will not be satisfied with President Boakar's achievement once he does not achieve in the agriculture sector.
Exactly.
From you, as a journalist working in the agriculture sector, where can President Boakar start if he will make a mark and achieve with his arrest agenda, especially agriculture?
So we already heard the minister talking about it. He said they need to resuscitate the Agricultural Cooperative Development Bank. But he said this will be happening in a different way. That was the bank that was given loan out to farmers before the war.
Okay.
So farmers need access to loan. It's very, very much important. We have some extent, some intervention has been made access to loan through the LACF, the Liberal Agriculture Commercialization Fund, that was launched by President Weah, I think in 2020 or 2021 during the annual agriculture fair. It was 16 million. But right now today we have close to, I think, 41 million that is for grant giving out to farmers. We need to improve on that. We need to ensure that farmers will always have access to finance. Farmers should be able to go to the bank. Many of the commercial banks are not willing to give out,
Yeah, we hear
money
about
out
that all the
to
time.
farmers. So we need to ensure. That's what I keep saying. Is it possible in the current national budget? I don't know how is it being adjusted. I'm still being studying what adjustment have been made when it comes to agriculture. Do we have any money there for loan in the national budget for agriculture? The budget for agriculture now is one of the least. I think 1% of the total national budget is being going to
Maybe because the crafter think that we have more
exactly. This is what they always say.
coming
So
in from
one will have
partners.
one will have money coming from external forces,
Mm.
external sources. They mean we don't need to allot money for
Which is
agriculture.
not good.
But not everything that the donor project is able to do. So the issue of extension, how do we address that? If the money that they come from the donor project, as I've learned, the donor project has its own description as to how the funding is going to be used.
Yeah,
so why
sure.
can't we put some money in the national budget, that will go as loans, to the farmers? I mean, sub loans to the farmers that the farmer can be able to pass through to so many commercial banks there and be able to access it.
Okay.
So this is one of the things President Boakai need to prioritize. You need to ensure that farmers have access to loan. And the minister has said it, that he going to ensure that we resuscitate, as a nation, resuscitate the Agricultural Cooperative Development Bank. And that's something I'm still following up to see how it's going to be done.
Okay.
We need the agriculture sector. We need to improve on access to finance for farmers. We need loans. Farmers should be loaned constantly. That's the only way some of the challenges I'm telling you about will be addressed. Because how does the processor able to operate a facility if it does not have access to loan?
Okay. All right, so we drawing down the curtains now on the program. So, Judoemue, let me appreciate you for coming. But is there anything that you want to close up with?
So my final word is that I'm calling on the Ministry of Agriculture to partner with the media to ensure visibility of what it's doing.
Okay.
I know they are doing some things through the LMDI, but I think there's a need to really improve on it. The media lacks the capacity to cover agriculture issues. So there must be a positive partnership. If I say positive partnership, what does that mean? The media is not going to serve as a public relations officer for the MOA, but you always need to take them on the feed regularly to see what you are doing, so they can be able to showcase the successes. Because there are a lot of assumptions that there's nothing happening in the agriculture sector, but a lot more is happening in the agriculture sector, but it's not being communicated. Okay, so how can people know that? How can people be encouraged to go in to invest in agriculture if they don't have the information? And who's supposed to provide the information is the media. And how can the media provide the information if the media is not empowered? And that's why for me, I'm always calling on the ministry of actors that we need to ensure to collaborate with the media. Right now, I'm working with a network of journalists called the CADA Africa Agriculture Development. The CADA Journalist Network of Liberia. It's a comprehensive Africa agriculture development program that advocate for 10% of the total national budget.
Okay.
So I have some group of guys in the Bureau, even at EIBC or some other areas, so that we can be able to partner with the Ministry of Agriculture and other NGOs in the agriculture sector.
But you guys not doing too much engagement
So
around this.
we can ensure visibility. We are trying our best, Jai, but the thing here is that people need to, it is the role of the development partners and the Ministry of Agriculture to ensure that the media be able to showcase the thing that they're doing. The media does not have the capacity. I'm not able to, EFBC not able to leave from here and go all the way to local content and do an independent reporting. So they need to collaborate with the media so the media can be able to ensure visibility of everything that they're doing. Not only the Ministry of Agriculture. I always say with FAO, WFP, all of the intervention that you are making, what are the success stories? Regularly invite the media. Look, yes, the only thing you're not going to pay us, but you provide DSA that can show that we go up in the county and see what you are doing. Let we ourselves come, not press releases and come and just send press releases and all go there. So if the ministry does not, partner with the media to ensure visibility of what they are doing, we still have a gap in the improvement of our food and nutrition security. Because with the media, we have an important role to play. Okay. So they need to partner with the media and support the media, empower the media. Some of the things that we're doing, some of the agriculture program we're having in the various community radios. Community radios supposed to have agriculture program. Now be inviting extension officers to come and talk to the farmers. They're supposed to be empowering the media for those things there. And that's the only way we're going to, it's another way. That's the only way, because the gap, there's a serious gap when it comes to information dissemination.
Especially with the sector.
With the sector. A lot of things happening, but it's not being communicated. Only because the ministry ability and other partners, they're not interested in enforcing their communication strategy to see how they can partner with the media to showcase the many things that are happening in the agriculture sector. You go on YouTube and other things, you see a lot of success stories of other farmers in Nigeria and other things. Who tell you some of our farmers are not successful yet? How can we encourage the young people to go into agriculture if we cannot make it known on the media? The young people need to go into agriculture. If we don't create, the media does not create awareness about it. So there's a need of a possible, I call it a possible partnership with the media to showcase those things that they are doing in the agriculture sector.
Okay, so thank you very much. Judoemue Kollie is the agriculture reporter at the Daily Observer newspaper. He's been our guest on this final segment of the bumper show today. Judoemue, thanks very much for coming, and hopefully as the time is going by, we can get you in here again. That's to take a look at where are we under the arrest agenda with the issue of agriculture. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much, Jai.
Okay, so very shortly we draw down the curtains on the program, but let me bring you this one again. 'Cause I'm certain brighter days